our main goal here, everyone, is that we are able to provide some of the best information about the market as a whole. So yeah, I do want to again say welcome to the first podcast. Like, this is exciting. Today we do have a lot of our team members here who make up a big portion of the DD that we see online. So we have Rogue, the Legacy, Lady Love Stonk, Sharkbait, Hambone, First Strike Veteran, Tears or Sweat, Chris G, the Indian Dude, and Optimus Bob Ross. These are some of the podcasters that you guys will come to know and love and enjoy watching and listening to. We do try to provide the best deep dive information that is around and get it out to the masses. That's really the big point here. And so we also want to bring in together some of the voices out there in the world that are standing with us and that want to have their voices heard along with you guys. And so today we have Leslie Braddock with us, brought in by Lady, doing an AMA. If you guys do have questions, we are going to be hosting it in our Discord where you guys can type up questions to her. It'll be in the Trade Talk channel chat. So if you do have questions for her, we can be answering those at the end. But from here, I will let Lady take the stage. We look
Thanks,
forward to
Kenna.
this.
Thanks so much, Kenna. I'd love to welcome everybody to Miss Leslie Braddock. She is absolutely the sweetest. So thank you so much for joining us today, Leslie. Uh-oh, are we running into our first technical difficulties? Uh-oh.
I am. I was having trouble hearing Lady, so
Oh, no. Um,
I still can't hear her.
sure.
Yeah, fun thing. Sure. I really had no clue getting into this, just like anybody else. I think you hear about people uh, trading stocks and investing, and you think it's for the super elite or super wealthy, and you perceive it to be something that is beyond your reach if you're the average person, usually. And I decided to take a jump into it very conservatively, and got the bug, and that was it. I have a mild dyslexia, so numbers intimidated me in the beginning, but I found that was easily overcome with the same way I overcame it in school. And so I definitely caught the stock market fever. But yeah, I started investing about 15 years ago, and it was very conservatively. I was scared to death to lose anything. As a first time investor, you don't want to, if you see the stock go down 2 cents, you have a meltdown. Um, there becomes a point where you pull your emotions out of it, and it becomes business, and that's when you really start doing well. Um, I invested in mostly blue chip stocks, Fortune 100 companies, uh, very secure mutual funds that I had researched, very, very conservative. And eventually I learned foresight in picking trends, picked up Amazon at $300 a share and Tesla at $70 a share and still have them. So diamond handing is a natural thing to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and those returns motivated me to invest. Well, okay, what can I get in the beginning floor next? And that helped me not be so afraid to break out of that blue chip box that I was in. I think it's like they refer to it as boomer stocks.
Oh, shoot.
The
Yeah.
safe things. Anyway. But once I started searching for trends and I did research and I still viewed the stock market as educated gambling. I'd like to coin that phrase. um, I learned that I could make more profit. So I diversified. I got a little bit out of the blue chips and found that things moved a little better for me that way. To each their own, though. I can't tell anybody what to do. The only thing I can tell you what to do is don't invest what you can't lose.
That's excellent. Yes,
that's always a risk.
That sounded.
I hear you. Yes.
Okay. That's wonderful. And you actually kind of just answered the very first question. Just kind of like tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been investing in the stock market. Do you want to go into a little bit of your background, just a little bit, so our listeners can just kind of know who you are, aside from your background with marketing or market?
Sure. I have a couple associate's degrees, and I am finishing up my bachelor's degree in psychology. Married around 25. That didn't work out. Ended up for 20 some odd years a stay-at-home mom. So when the marriage didn't work out, I was faced with no retirement. And then I had to spend several years taking care of my mom, who was very ill. She could not take care of herself. She was dependent on Social Security, limited income, that kind of thing. So that took a lot of life out of me at that point. After she passed away a couple years ago, I moved up to Tennessee to start. I have a Airbnb business, which I run now here, and it was a dream of mine for years to do that. And boldly moved, didn't know a soul, picked up everything, and just said, "To heck with it. You have to live life." So I did, and I'm doing well. It's going well up here now, but I've learned a lot in a few years. I'll say that. But yeah, so that's pretty much my background. I got into investing to really help me with retirement, help me be able to travel and do things I've always wanted to do, pay off my Jeep, the average stuff that people want to do. Yeah.
So you've been investing for what you said, about 15 years, and typically with the blue chip stocks and that kind of stuff. When did you decide to invest in the meme stocks?
Well, I have a habit, or did have a habit. Now it's obsessive. I have Bloomberg or CNBC on 24/7 now, and we all understand this phenomenon that's going on. But before, I would watch some kind of stock market information at least one day a week to try to keep abreast of what was going on, so I could keep my portfolio up to date and be able to make sure I sold at the right times and bought at the right times, following a lot of trends. That's what I was looking for. So I happened to be watching on January 27th when GME spiked, and I caught FOMO hardcore, bought in at 220. I'm still there. Out. It happens. It happens to all of us, the best of us. But I'm not sweating it. I'm holding it. I'm not even worried about it. It's sitting there, and eventually that will pay off too. So after I saw that on it was actually CNBC I was watching. I joined the Wall Street Bets Reddit group, started reading. I didn't chat. And I joined the AMC Reddit group, didn't chat, got into it for a while. Really did some research, due diligence, before I spoke out in any of the forums, because I didn't want to be that person that, misled somebody else or said something that was not accurate. And I didn't feel like I knew enough to be able to speak out. Obviously that's changed. Look where we are today. But I sat back and I listened, listened to YouTubers. I didn't want to be loud and uninformed. That was my big no-no. But I did start watching, and I do want to recommend this to anybody that is new to the stocks and wants to learn more about how to make decisions for yourself. There is a YouTube channel by Rainer Teo, Raynertao, and he teaches you how to read charts, candles, all of it. He's fantastic. And you can watch him over and over again till you get the concepts, and it will really help you be a better, more profitable, and be better at gauging where your stocks are going. So that's my that's my advice on that.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we continue our financial literacy and learning how to look at charts and just get an idea of where things are heading. I appreciate that. We'll have to post that recommendation into our chat.
I definitely agree. I'm going to go look into them now.
Thanks so much, Rogue. So okay, so you started digging deep and you started like really going through your research, and have you learned anything surprising with the research that you have done?
Yeah, I started Googling the words Citadel, SEC, and fines, and pages come up of law breaking, SEC, $200,000 here. Just again and again and again, every few months they're getting fined for doing the same exact things. So what really surprised me was the corruption and how much it's rigged, and how much our financial systems as a whole are rigged to favor the 1%. When you have the head of the Citadel hedge fund, which is the one we're specifically dealing with a lot with AMC and GameStop, buying $700 million home in New York. It's the most expensive home ever. That is absurd. It's absurd. And he's taking money from us to do that. And people that are uninformed, trying to use the stock market for retirement, that don't have the time to do as much research as I have done or whatever, that becomes an ethical issue and a moral issue for me. And then the concept of them being able to literally put a company out of business, killing thousands of jobs for people. And I had to be a part of a movement against that. I felt that if I didn't stand up and say something about it, and that's what got me vocal on Twitter, that I would be doing a disservice. So
Well,
too many people suffer. I'm sorry, too many people suffer in general. If we can level the playing field, then it's kind of our duty to do so.
Well, that was just one of my next questions, actually. Sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay.
I was just saying you're pretty positive about everything that's going on and the movement in general. So what are some changes that you would have that you like to see come about from this movement?
Sure. When you get 3.2 million voices together, there's going to be some differences. That's just a given. But we have to stop and step back and realize we all have the same goal. We can unite under that. We may be different politically or religiously or whatever other issues that people can create. We can unite to overcome this particular corruption, especially within our country here. That it's and the fact that so many people have come together with one voice shows that we have more alike than we have differences, and that we're struggling for the same things. And I mean, if you look back on my Twitter, some of you may not want to, I have been political, extremely political in the past. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to deny it. And I still have strong views. But this movement has taught me that the division that has been such an issue for us never works. And that to stand united is the ultimate goal. So forging through those issues is possible. And being united in a common way, we can do that. We just have to find what we have to unite for. I think this is a good step. This is a financial thing, and it's a movement, and people can joke about, we're apes and whatever. That's fun. That's great. I like that. But if you look underneath it, we're all moving in the same direction, and we all feel the same need to level this playing field, like I said before. So that's where I come from. And that's the changes I'd like to see is for everybody to realize that. And when somebody comes at you with the drama or with the tweet on your post that's really not complimentary or a little bit negative, just take a breath, let it go. It's not the end of the world. Twitter can be a very dog eat dog place. Not everything needs a response. And if you continue to push the positivity, the negativity tends to dwindle out. So that's my
I
change
agree
I'd like to see.
1000% with that. 1000%.
What I was saying, guys, sorry, I totally muted my mic so you guys wouldn't hear the background noise. But yeah, I was just saying, like, we need an ape, no fight ape community. Spreading the love and being strong for one another, because, that's the only way we get change. And the fact that we have this opportunity to create change in more than just the market, but as a global, community is fantastic. I really love that, Leslie. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I just, you know, the old saying, the house divided cannot stand. So we have to have each other's backs in this. And I mean, there's always going to be the naysayers, but there's a block button for a reason. There's, you don't have to take abuse, but you don't have to respond to everything either. So
Well put.
it's just,
Well put. And that's true for everything in life, correct?
100%.
So I was kind of snooping around on your Twitter, if you don't mind, and I saw that you also are a writer. And is that correct? I'm making sure that my own little DD is true.
Yes, I have a young adult book that's finished. I haven't published it yet. I was taught in my many writers workshops that you just call yourself an author, because if you don't, you'll never get there. It's that positive forward thinking that we were talking about earlier. But it's finished. I'm waiting on the final edit.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Congratulations to that. I think because I was looking through that, I was like, would you ever consider writing a book about the movement? And what would your focus be?
Actually, I had not considered it until you just asked me this question. But now I think if I did, which is a giant maybe, but there are two takes that I would put in there, I think. And I'm not sure how I would marry the two ideas, because they're very different entities. But I would want to focus on the unity of the apes, and how the communities came together, and how it started, and just the stories of, I've read some things on Reddit of individuals with daughters with cancer, and they can't pay the medical bills, and they're really praying that this comes through for them so they can, help their daughter get her chemo treatment. And I mean, that's the desperation that I've heard from so many people that really, it moved me. And I think that needs to be a voice in and of itself. I also feel like the corruption that's going on, that might put a target on my back, though, with all these hedge funds, and not only that, within the government entities that allow the hedge funds and the market manipulators to get away with what they do. That needs to be exposed, because so many people have no idea how bad it is. So we'll see. There you go.
Thank you. I would definitely read it for sure. So what is your overall sentiment about the current situation and the apes who are in here? So we have some apes in here right now listening, and I know that there's some listening on the stream. What do you want to say to them directly?
Prep yourself. Have a get out plan. Understand what a short squeeze is. There's plenty of things you can look at. You can look at the GameStop short squeeze and analyze that, how long it took, how many days it took. It wasn't immediate. And when it started to go down, when you should take your profits. That for yourself. Have a plan. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Second thing, if your attendees are going to be excessive, and you all know this, protect yourself. CPA, tax attorney, find out what you need to do. Set aside the money for Uncle Sam immediately. You can prepay your taxes, log online, create an account with the IRS, get it done. Don't even tempt yourself to spend that money. It's going to be hard because those checks are going to be big, but do it. You will save yourself stress. Nobody wants Uncle Sam chasing you down the road. Do not, and this is my personal advice, okay? I'm not going to do this. Tell your friends and family how much you profit. Money changes how people treat you. I have seen this firsthand when I started writing, and I talked to my family about this. And, they say never tell people your ideas, just do them and then show them your success. Go with that. Also, the stock market is a glorified casino. You have to play with care. Do your research. Don't take anyone's advice unless you have done so. Mine, any YouTubers, Jim Cramer's, please, God, no. Use multiple sources, not just one. If you see a tweet that looks exciting to you because it aligns with what you want to profit, double check it 3, 4, 5 times with other sources and make sure that that is an accurate thing. Verify your research. It's like doing a term paper in college. It's not glamorous. Sometimes it's not fun, but when you get the tendies, that's fun to play with. So it's worth it. And then finally, we are more alike than different. So take a breath. Like I said, when someone tweets you those messages, let it go. Even if they're rude and disagree with you harshly, it's not worth it. Our own sanity and mental health is super important. Take your weekends off. I'm not doing that this weekend, but take your weekend off. Spend time with family, friends, kids, uncles, aunts. Run around outside, play, be silly. The pressure and stress of this is real, and it can affect us all. And we need to keep that in perspective. So those are my big 6 things.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions? We do have some time for questions if you want. You guys, if for those who are in our Discord right now, you guys can hop up to the Trade Talk chat and type @staff, and then you can go ahead and ask your questions there. And so
I just wanted to comment on Leslie's. Hey, Leslie, this is the Indian guy. I just wanted to comment on your advice, and I think that is such a important set of rules or rubric, or you want to call it commandments or amendments or whatever you want to call it. It's so important that you said that, because that's what we in our little Discord have been literally preaching since day one when we started this. This is for the community. We're here to help you through whatever you want, but remember, this is a space for all of us to come together and make a sound decision. Don't just believe what's out there. A lot of things that are out actually on the internet, Twitter, is for the most part is FUD, in my opinion, until you go yourself and do analysis and research. And then this space, like right here, is, you come and ask us questions and we can help you out. We have a couple of very seasoned traders in here, investors. We would welcome you back again, to set up another one of these again with us, because just a few things that you've mentioned really resonated with me as well.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'd like to add into the exact message that you've said tonight is definitely something we try to instill in everybody. Is, that's why we created this entire community that we're trying to build, is to teach people how to do their own DD. Because I do know we have a lot of new traders, new investors, young investors, and they're just kind of taking everything at face value that they see on Reddit, on Twitter, on all these other, YouTubers and everything. And I really want to teach how to find the information so that they actually know where everybody's seeing it from. And so maybe, we can actually find other mistakes or other problems in the market, or even find some other loophole that these investors or anything, the hedge funds or the other corporate investors are using, and just kind of try to stamp it out in that sense. because the more
I
eyes you have,
completely agree.
when you have more eyes on it, you have more brains on it, and they can, it's kind of like a super ultra mega brain in that sense to everyone can make sense of it. So I definitely agree, like, do your own DD and learn the market itself instead of just kind of relying on others. I love it.
And bring
Exactly.
it.
And that's also why when I'm on Twitter, if I post something, I always try to have a link so that way anyone that wants to look into it can. Because I could be wrong. I could be wrong about something and I want to be challenged. Because I want the facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really good, Rogue. I like that a lot. Posting the link. I think that's important.
Yes.
I have a
And I was
question
for
on you.
screenshots too. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a question on YouTube. I have one question. What is a short squeeze type 3? Does anybody know?
I tweeted on my Twitter today. Ortex had broken it down and explained it. And they have, I believe it's 5 different levels of squeeze, from what I understand, notifications based on percentages and days to cover. So that's the best I can give you. But if I can reference my Twitter and the Ortex post about it, would really break it down a little better.
Oh, I will find that and I'll retweet it out for you. Hey, lady, we have other questions popping up if you want to go through those.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let Leslie. Why don't you hop over to the trade? I mean, don't leave this, but just go ahead and look at the Trade Talk channel, and then there is a question up there if you would like to answer it.
Okay.
Or if you want one of us to read it, I can read it.
I see. The one from Autumn.
Yes.
Okay. Indicators for the squeeze reaching its peak and on the way back down. This is what I've heard preached. And full disclosure, this is my first squeeze, so I think we're all in this boat together. A lot of us. You hear talk about higher highs and lower lows. Okay, when you're looking at the charts, so you look at the charts, and what's going to happen is, and this happens in every squeeze. You can look at the Volkswagen squeeze and the GameStop squeeze. Those charts are available online if you Google them. It goes up, and then you have a period of consolidation. Goes up, period of consolidation. Goes up, period of consolidation, and then you get these big green spikes, and then it consolidates for a hot minute. It moves quicker than a normal increase on a normal stock situation. So what you're going to look for is lower highs, lower lows. So when the low of that day is lower than the high of the previous day, okay, because it should be continual going up. When it starts to come down, and you can see that, that's when you know you've reached peak. And there's other people that can explain it a lot better than I can. I think I think Trace Trades had a video on this about getting out, when to have a plan. And I watched that video. I got a lot out of it. So I recommend that from everybody. So, yeah.
Does anybody on our staff want to also maybe kind of share their thoughts on that? Thank you, Leslie.
Sure. Thanks, Dusty. Yeah, so I would look at different chart patterns. I'm a big TA, CA, or technical or chart analysis guy, and there's different types of supports and resistance you have to look through when you do chart analysis to really figure out where is your level of support. And then you have to build level of support and resistance lines to see if it breaks past that. And at that point, you'll kind of see. So you have Fibonacci retracements, you have candlestick analysis, you could do all of those variety of things. And my recommendation would be is to notice for fake breakouts. Well, in that is the volume. The volume is such a big indicator to let you know if it's a fake breakout or when the volume is going down. And it's indicative of how you're seeing the chart move today. Like super low volume and you'll have a spike up suddenly from $1 or like 50 cents to 75 cents. And that's because the shorts are covering. If it's really small volume and you have a big uptrend, that's because that's what's happening. So look towards a weak versus strong uptrend to really understand the peak of how the charts are moving. In my opinion, I don't really know about a short squeeze the way, because it's so the short squeeze is very volatile. But at the same time, this particular short squeeze that we're in for AMC, the amount of information we know, the data we have, and I'm a math guy as well, this is going to be here for at least minimum of 1 week. It's not a quick short squeeze. There's so many shares that have to be covered. You could be easily cashing out on the way down. And I'm talking about you'll have time to do that. And you'll see a gradual decrease.
You said that so much better than I did. Thank you.
No worries. But I think you made a fair point as well, like how you need to look at, like, I think this is the one thing Leslie said, and I'd have to call Kenna out on this one as well. She's always says it in all of our meetings that talks that we have at night, is sell on the way down. That's your strategy.
Yes.
And you'll see it, how it happens. Volume will drop, you'll see the charts move a certain way, and that's when you do it.
100%.
Yeah, it's also a mechanism that I'm trying to, kind of help people with, and it was kind of touching on base with protecting themselves, right? It's going to be very hard to lie if you actually sell at the top, right? Or on the way up or something, it's very hard. So, my thought process is kind of one of those, if you sell on the way down $1, $5, nobody has to know, right? But it's kind of one of those things, like, everybody's going to know that you're in it if you already told them and everything. And it says like, oh, well, I saw on the way down, I missed the peak, whatever. They don't have to know that you only missed it by $1, whatever. It's just kind of one of those things, like, it's people can spot a liar from a mile away, and it's just kind of another safeguard against it, and then you also know in the back of your head that you held through the peak, you saw it to the top of what it could be, and you got to finish out your fight with it. We held on this long. What's it gonna take to just see it to the top and then cash out? Because at the end of the day, you'll be able to take your profits, what your initial investment out, you'll be able to do that on the way down. There's no denying that at this point.
Yeah, and the other thing is, guys, you have to also realize, right, we don't know what a ceiling or a floor is. So I would like to remind everybody is, do not have how do I say this, like an expected ceiling or a floor. Leslie gave this advice earlier as well. Ken has been giving it. I've done it multiple times as well. Think about yourself, your situation you're in. Don't get greedy.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you can be greedy all you want, but at the same time, it's just, you gotta have to look out for yourself, guys. And that's my biggest thing, is like, you really just, we are one group, we are one team, and a family, or whatever you guys want to say, whatever I've seen. But at the end of the day, you guys really have to, watch out for yourself too. You are on this solo journey, and I'm sure a lot of people can see that too, and hear and feel that, there's a lot of people that are wanting to, have that support. But at the end of the day, you're the only one that pushes that button. You're the only one that can buy more, sell more, hold more. It's definitely a very solo, personal journey, in my opinion.
That is true. That is very true.
There's another question by Boom41. How do we proceed after these hedgies don't change their tactics or do not go bankrupt? How do we react if this doesn't squeeze?
My opinion, just my opinion, I think the worst case scenario, AMC is undervalued. If you look at before the pandemic, 2019, 2018 numbers, they were up 25 to 35 range. So worst case scenario, if you got in recently, especially $9, $10 range, you'll double your money. So breathe,
Thank you.
don't
I've
sweat
been
that.
literally saying that since day one.
Yes. So we'll start there. Okay. When Ortex is putting out squeeze potential numbers on the weekend, they did that before GameStop. I can say I'm convinced it's going to happen. I can't convince you. I can't say it's definitely going to happen, but I'm convinced it's going to happen.
So am I.
So
Yes.
let's add to your point, Leslie. The sheer number, like imagine Twitter was trending AMC squeeze
Right.
last week. There is organic retail ape pressure. People are actually buying into AMC because two things, right? One thing is, hey, they love the stock, they believe in the movement, they love how the community is growing, and it's a nostalgic feeling of theaters and how the short selling is happening. Part two is like they understand it's a short squeeze potential. They understand people are not dumb as hedge funds and banks are thinking. Like we have very smart people on this chat, not just us over here talking, but people who are not also talking. We have very smart people, so don't sell yourself short. You know exactly who you are and what you're doing,
Right.
and I want to reiterate to everybody on the call, like you guys are smart. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not.
I'll
And
piggyback off that too. Don't sell yourself short. That's the hedge fund's job.
I like that.
And I stand by that.
I think we need to get that
Advice.
trending. We need to get that
Yeah,
trending big time.
don't sell yourself short. That's awesome.
But also, if the hedgies tactics don't change or they don't go bankrupt, let me address that. DTC 2021-05 should change these things. I don't
Yeah.
put a lot of weight in the SEC or the government or the DTC. I cross my fingers and hold my breath in a lot of instances that some of their changes will actually be affected, but it should prevent shorting to this scale in the future. And if AMC squeezes, which it should, to the amount that I feel, which I'm not even going to throw a number out, so nobody asked that. It's going to be mind-boggling to these hedge funds, and I think it's going to disrupt the community enough that if they try to come back, it will be years. And I think there will be rules in place, especially this one, that will prevent it from happening again.
Yes,
I think this
I've been
is
literally preaching that.
right. I think this is our one and only short squeeze, massive potential. I don't really think this is ever going to happen again.
very
That's
good
my
point
opinion.
you
And
made.
to piggyback off that, the rules that are being put in place, guys, you got to know they're not for us. I say this all the time. Yes, some of them affect us in a great way for us, but the majority of them are so that way this never happens again. So that way it can never happen again.
Right.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that, Leslie.
Yeah. I wanna add on to that. I was typing to our chat. Yeah. To this can't happen again, guys. Like I do know there's a lot of people that say that they want it to happen. When's the next one gonna be? Like, how do I benefit from the next short squeeze? Like, guys, you don't want to wish another short squeeze. Like, we don't want to wish this on our economy. Because the predatory ways of this whole situation should really make you mad, not wish for another one, for the sense that they tried to take down companies. I tweeted about this yesterday, but these companies were getting ready to file bankruptcy and go under, and that's a lot of jobs, and that's a lot of people's livelihoods and everything, and I can't fathom a world where people would wish that, institutions would try to completely bankrupt companies that have been around since, for, 100 years or so. Like that's unfathomable to me. And I did find, because, a lot of people have watched The Big Short, and, there's a character in there that quotes that every 1% of unemployment that increases, 40,000 people die. But it actually, so they did a study for more recent times, because that was actually a very old statistic. And it's actually, for every 1%, it's 47,500 deaths every time, for every 1% point increase in America's average annual unemployment rate. So 47,500 people. That is atrocious. And so the fact that, the apes, the retail investors, the average person came in and, saved it and, said, no, this enough is enough. And we stand behind these companies because they, they're, institutions that we back, because, it's gaming, it's the nostalgic aspect of gaming, it's the theater, it's AMC, going to the movie theaters, getting some popcorn and watching your favorite movie that's just coming out. That's a bunch of memories for a lot of people. And so the fact that people could even say that what we do is wrong or bad or any way that shape is very narcissistic or just incorrect, because at the end of the day, we really have actually saved lives, people. And I really want to applaud everybody that is still holding and still in it, because that's pretty huge. I just wanted to add that.
That was beautifully said.
It was, and I want to expand on that a little bit, if you don't mind. I feel, and this is again my opinion, that it's an obligation, not an option, when we get to the other side of this, for us to give back to the community. I plan on giving back to my food pantry locally, so that nobody in this area goes hungry. Because what's going to happen is, if these hedge funds have to divvy up, and if they get liquidated, on the reverse side of that, those people will be out of jobs. Now, a lot of people aren't going to be sympathetic towards that, and I completely understand. Okay. They set themselves up in this situation, but some of those people didn't, and the people that work under them and so forth and so on will also be out of jobs. So we have to take that into consideration. That's kind of collateral damage to what's going on. Sure, it's a result of their original action, but it is there nonetheless. So I'm asking you guys, when we get to the other side of this, if you would consider giving back to your community, whether it's animal shelter, food bank, homeless shelter, whatever your choice is. I've seen people post about getting, the Nintendo Switches for the Children's Hospital. Fantastic. Whatever it is, give back. That equalizes things. That makes us better than them, not in a, oh, look at me, I'm better than you, but kind of in a way where we're doing it in an ethical manner and trying to change things, not doing what they're doing. I hope I explained that okay.
No, it's excellent. Yeah, and that is definitely something to consider. That yes, there are going to be innocent people with the hedge funds and the banking institutions that do potentially lose their jobs too, and that is still very unfortunate. Like I don't hope for anybody to lose their jobs. Like that's a terrible thing. But at the same time, we have to kind of take a step back and say, why did this happen? And the fact that 2008 happened so recently. I know that seems like a very distant memory for some, but it was very recent. And a lot of people are still hurting from that and not recovering at all. I think my husband said something about Sacramento, that there are people from 2008 that are still living in RVs. A lady, you might know this better than I do, but living in RVs because they still can't recoup from 2008. I mean, that's amazing in my mind that, we somehow went through this entire crisis, and yet the institutions and everything, they're pretty much back on track, but the average person isn't. there's a big flaw in that in my book. And so while there's still a lot of recovery that needs to be done, I definitely agree to, give back. That also will help boom the economy instead of just shelling it off in some offshore account and just letting it ride out and do whatever. That's the biggest difference, right? Is the retail investors, we spend money. We like to go buy stuff. We want to go buy a new house or a new car or whatever and help, that helps the businesses grow around us. And I know I have my own little personal project that I want to do to help veterans and first responders with the homeless vets and first responders and creating tiny homes. So definitely give back to the community, because that's what will set us apart. We can actually kind of redefine what wealth means, I think.
Yes, and I think it's more than just how much I have. It's it can be how much you can give and care and devote to other people, because we're not in this by ourselves, and it's taking this whole group of apes to create this situation so we can all profit. Let's extend that out to the community and embrace them as well. So yeah, I agree completely. And I love the tiny home idea. I may steal that.
Hey, I want to get it all the way across this country, the globe, if possible. The idea is to basically make a self-sufficient community. So green energy, putting it on a well, like a community well, having like a community garden, and then it is percentage based. For the first 6 months that the veterans and first responders, if they are homeless with, great documentation and everything, first 6 months they can live rent free, just to kind of give them an address so that it can get a job and make it easier and get a home. And then after that first 6 months, it would be a percentage based on what you're making. And then after that, we can get you into another community that we'd be partnered up with to kind of, get you back into the community as a whole, instead of just being thrown out and expected to survive, in a sense.
Right. That's a fantastic idea. I love it. It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I may contact you about that down the road. Side of this.
Fantastic. Actually, Tiers is he actually does container homes. He has a business model for container homes, and
modular construction.
Yeah, and modular construction. It's two different ones, and so we were kind of partnering up and trying to see. And that's actually how we started talking, was because of this idea. Then, and we also had connections through the AMC only Discord and stuff, having been friends through there. But it was really the spark, me talking about that, and he reached out and he was, hey, so I do this. And I'm like, oh, you actually, and he showed me the blueprints and everything. And it was fantastic. So it was exactly what I had pictured. I'm like, this world's too weird.
That's great. That's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah.
I do want to address,
I'm sorry.
Conan had crypto crash today. What was the relation to the upcoming event for GME and AMC? I think that the hedge funds pumped crypto recently, because you notice that it went up to 60,000 within the last couple months. And then it started coming down to 50, and it's in the 40s right now. Last I looked, coin was, and we had a day Friday, didn't it tank pretty good? But I think they're pumping and dumping a little bit to make some money so that they can pay their bills. That's my personal opinion. I would love to hear what everybody else thinks about that.
We have the same opinion.
Yeah, we are all in the same opinion.
That's literally what oh my God. I made like a DD on that for what happened like in April 19th through the 23rd, when the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 plummeted, as well as Bitcoin and all those other cryptocurrencies. They're all related.
Yeah, so today it actually hit its lowest since probably pre-April. So I'm heavily invested in crypto, and it was a bull market. Let's be honest, we've had a lot of organic buying by retail investors of course, financial institutions and hedge funds there. And yes, I think partly both you, Rogue, and Leslie, you both, and Kenna, you're right that it's probably a potential pump and dump situation where they have. So my humble opinion, they've hid assets, capital, collateral in crypto, and then they're basically bringing it. They're cashing out, getting ready, and there's a lot more to this, but I don't want to get into it right now. With a DD that I'm working on right now, just knowing that current situation where we are today, cryptocurrency right now has almost minimal intrinsic value. It's not used, and if it is used, it's connected to the U.S. dollar. So it's a very complicated situation. But right now, what the banks and hedge funds are doing is, in my opinion, they're basically they're getting ready to pay out. In my opinion, they've pumped it up so much, and there's no organic, like, it's systemic. If you look at the time and when they do it, it's very systemic. And last 2 days, it's been a gradual decrease. It hasn't been like a drop down. It's been a gradual sell off. And so, given the SLR expirations, given the new rulings that are coming out from the DTCC, given the latest, so every time DTCC has a closed door meeting, following few days to a week later, something happens. It happened with GameStop as well. Not saying it's going to happen with AMC and GameStop, but I'm just telling you, everything is pattern, guys. 08 was a pattern. This is also a pattern, just like 08. There's no, like, this is not new. This has happened. It's happening again. There's a phrase, what do you call it? History repeats itself. It's happening. And crypto is just part of this additional variable that's been used to hide money. And now they're realizing that they need a lot of capital to, get out of the hole that they've dug themselves.
So Rogue, I do have a question for you. JF Wall Street Viking said he talked to you last week about Doge. Do you want to kind of fill us in on what that is? Something about a theory that hedge funds are heavy on Doge, looking at it history for a pump after the squeeze.
I think that they're all interconnected. Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Doge. I think that they were pumping and dumping out of multiple ones. One thing in particular with Ethereum, in 1 month time, they doubled their price. So how does a stock, or how does a crypto do that?
I can answer that question. Ethereum is a very bullish stable coin. Given the price point of Ethereum and close to 40% of the blockchain on Ethereum today, it's a very attractive stablecoin versus Bitcoin. So from that perspective, because of the technology, Ethereum is more attractive. Price point is more attractive. Retailers are buying in because it's affordable. People can't afford Bitcoin, and they can buy portions, a small magnitude of it. But if you can actually buy an Ethereum for, let's say you have $1,500 in your bank account, you could have bought it. And it's a way. I still think crypto is a way for them to hedge themselves. There's no denial, Rogue, you're right. And Leslie, your thoughts, and Ken, we've talked about this as well, right? We are 100% in the same alignment. Like this past 1 year. I mean, just look at Bitcoin, look at the other coins from last year, like from when the pandemic happened to now. That parabolic increase is insane. It's insane how it happened. And you could have bought Ethereum end of last year for a couple, like hundreds of dollars. Now it's sitting at $3,500. That's insane. But Ethereum itself is a actual stable technology that's being built on. Now it's not a sustainable technology. I think they can improve it. So Ethereum 2.0 is out, but it is actually very much, I feel like, a more of an attractive situation than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is losing its market value, in my opinion.
So,
what's your opinion on Doge? because that was his main point. I just went off on a rant about Ethereum.
Right. Doge, I won't lie, me and Ken made money off of it. So we're happy. And we're here to make money. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I like Doge. I have a special place in my heart for Doge, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that they're pumping and dumping Doge as well.
Well,
See,
so I do want to kind of feed into this. So, Tyler, my husband posted a question here. Leslie, anybody can answer this one. Could it be that the U.S. government, working through mainstream media to sway investors away from crypto as a way to save fiat? Elon could be pushing Doge to get more customers to buy Teslas, sort of like a pump and dump where the common person can still get in. Others denouncing Bitcoin and crypto energy cost could be in line with the first thought. What do you guys think?
I don't deny that's a really good thesis, I would say. My opinion, so Tesla's valuation is ballooned right now. Like, yes, they're revolutionary as far as, they're coming up with it's an electric car, the technology, the data capturing that's happening there. It's fantastic because literally Tesla's model is built on data. So that's super important. That's why it's attractive. But if you're selling 50,000 to 70,000 units a year, and Honda and Toyota are selling multi-million units a year, how do you look at that and say you're okay with it? It doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of that Tesla's valuation was pushed up through the potential short squeeze run by Redditors. A lot of people went into that same thing. So Tesla was I would say Tesla was a pre-AMC GME situation where it went within a year to almost $1,000 a share. And Elon is a smart guy. Let's not undermine that. I think his conglomerate of space, energy, that's an important piece of the whole, I would say, the Tesla valuation, because it's all clubbed in there. Because he's a brand by himself. He's bringing all those things in together. And then I honestly think there is a back-end connection from Elon to Citadel, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. There is a back-end connection to that. And that's why all of this is happening.
Leslie, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that, actually.
I'd love to hear this one.
Yeah, I think crypto, because it's unregulated, is easily manipulated by media, by people like Elon Musk, by the hedge funds, anyone that wants to take advantage. That's it's good in so many ways being unregulated, but in other ways, every bad guy that's going to come out of the woodwork is going to come at that. So we have to keep that in the back of our minds. I personally really like Tesla. I like the company. I like the car. I'd like to have one someday, maybe. But and I'm all about going green and being careful with that. So the energy costs, I've done some research. I haven't done enough on Bitcoin to validate or invalidate what Elon said. That was on my to-do list this week, but I was out of town last week. So the tweet came up at a weird time for me. But if that is the case, that's a valid thing, then, we should look at pursuing things that are greener. I know there's a couple cryptos out there that are what claim to be, I'll say it like that, 100% green with no carbon effect. But then again, they're not on the mainstream, so they're not getting the valuation because crypto is very much a word of mouth. I mean, Dogecoin came about not just because of Elon Musk, but because so many people said, oh, this is a joke. This is a dog. We're going to have fun with it. Let's make it worth something. Right? And it kind of happened. It came into fruition. So it's popular opinion a lot with cryptos. So you have to be careful with that. They're very volatile, as much as 20% a day. And obviously today, even more. It can be you can make a ton of money. You can lose a ton of money. So again, casino effect, be very careful in it. The other part of that was, I won't speak on Elon's motives there with the pump and dump, get more customers. It's really hard to verify. I'm not saying it's not true. At this point with the media, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm careful about that, but it's possible. It's possible he did that, and to boost his own profits. I mean, that's what the hedge funds are doing, right? They do everything they possibly can, and I'm sure they've even hired PR firms to manipulate Twitter, to manipulate the dialogue, to change things so that it favors them, to make us look like the dumb money that they call us. So you have to be careful with a lot of this. Again, research, and I full disclosure, I have Dogecoin. I bought it a long time ago, so I'm okay with what's going on right now. It's really not affecting me a lot, but those that get in with the FOMO, it's potentially could have bag holders, and then again, it could go up over $1. How do you predict that? So that's my opinion on all of that.
Do you believe it actually has any value today?
Does it? It has popular value, which is, oh, I have this. You should get this. This is cool. This is anti-establishment. Let's do this. That's the value it has. Ethereum, I agree that is a little more green. I'm using air quotes. You can't see them, but trust me, they're there. Than Bitcoin. It has an actual functioning ability, and I actually prefer that to Bitcoin. But yeah, Dogecoin is I like it. I think it's fun, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm keeping it in that context. I don't think getting married and emotional to any investment is a wise decision. And like I said way at the beginning of the interview, you have to be looking at all of these things like business. This is business. This isn't, oh, well, I love Tesla and I love my car and I'll never sell it. No, seriously. No, don't do the emotional thing. This is business. So take the emotions out. That's why I like Tesla, but I'm willing to say, yeah, let's look at Elon and, he could be manipulating this. Sure. I'm not going to say no to that. So be careful with that. Don't get married to Dogecoin. Don't get married to Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of them, because it could bite you, and they're very volatile, like you said before. So that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Leslie. Thank you.
Yeah, that is greatly appreciated. Yeah, Doge is a funny little thing. My little background on it, we got into it in 2013 when it was first incepted. So that's why I say it's a special place in my heart for Doge, because it is just such a funny little coin, and how it's kind of transpired and developed over the last almost 10 years. Ethereum, Bitcoin, those are big guys. They've always been around. But I think a lot of the altcoins, like, is there a favorite altcoin that you like, Leslie? Like Algo or anything like that?
I have some Cardano.
It's a good one.
That's about it. I really haven't done a lot of research on other ones. My choices have been pretty mainstream so far.
So a couple that I can say that we follow, we have Algo. My husband is a big one on that. It gives you an interest bearing, which is pretty cool. And then you have Holochain. So HOT is the crypto for that, but it's a very interesting technology. Indian guy can actually touch on that because he has pre-ordered a hub for them, if you want to talk about it. Indian guy, are you there? Because one of our members, Tears
He's muted.
Yeah, he's muted. Tears is our sweat is the biggest advocate for it, and it's a whole different technology versus the blockchain. It's a hollow chain, so it's a greener technology, and how they want to innovate and go about it. So I will try not to talk too much about it because I will totally mess everybody up, but definitely look into that and
Yeah.
algo.
HOT.
You were back.
HOT.
You're back. I found you.
Sorry, I have my 2-year-old as usual. Sorry. I love her, but sometimes she's a little. I don't have time with her. HOT is the ticker for that for folks listening in. And Leslie, it is basically a decentralized way to run your cryptocurrency, basically exchanges, storage. It's basically super private, and you can basically have your cryptocurrency on the hollow chain. So you can have blockchain on the hollow chain and still do everything. And there's a little hollow port that you can buy, and you're actually given fuel. If you buy that little port, you accrue hollow fuel, and you're able to stake that and make additional, hollow or hot, if you want to call it. This technology is still very infant. However, the government of UK has already looked into it and have pushed through as a viable option to cryptocurrency in their potential financial ledger system, which is massive. And then, Kenny, you mentioned Algo, right? Algorand?
Algo, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Algo is another wonderful coin. In fact, I own Algo ADA, which is Cardano. And personally, for me, I think Cardano has the highest. It's not no hype, but it's like the value for that coin. What it's trying to do is amazing. I would look into that. And XLM, Stellar Lumens. The UK government is looking into that as well.
If you want, Wall Street Viking just posted something. If you want to take a peek at that. So I'm worried because the hedge funds do not have a way out of this, and they know it. So in my theory, which can only ever be a theory because we don't know institutional ownership of crypto, is that they're laying in wait with heavy positions on it. The reason being, if you go and look at the history after GME squeeze that night, Doge rose up, I believe, a couple thousand%. I think they're playing chess and are going to be looking to try to get their money on the other side by front running these coins and then dumping them at once. Again, it's just a theory, but I want everybody just to be prepared for after the squeeze.
Yeah, that could very well be true. My opinion on that, and I want to say this to everyone who's invested in anything, it's a roller coaster. So what goes down comes up, what goes up comes down, usually, unless there's, you're looking at companies that are about to go out of business with 10-cent stocks, but crypto will rebound if they crash it. If you sell what you bought at 50 cents at a quarter, you're hurting yourself. So I'm going to encourage you. I'll put it this way. I'm not going to sell any crypto if it tanks. Okay. You do what you do, but everything goes around, and just keep in mind it is a roller coaster. I mean, the stock market crashed in the 20s, and 30s, the Great Depression. So, and it hit all-time highs recently. Things do rebound. So keep that in mind. When things go down, it's not the end of the world. I would hate for people to get real emotional and think they lost everything. It is a temporary situation. And please keep perspective on that.
Definitely. That was a great thing to say. In your opinion, how many similarities do you see between the 1929, the 08, and what we are looking at right now, like going into all of this? Like, are we seeing a lot of similarities between the three of them?
I look at 08 specifically as greed. It was just, banks getting reckless, taking B and C risky loans for exorbitant amounts that homes were not worth. I had a real good friend involved in that really got hurt through it. they overinflated her house. And sent her notices of, oh, we'll refinance you for this great rate and we can give you this real low mortgage payment. Well, what ended up happening is they overvaluated her house for about $125,000 more than it was worth, and stuck her pretty bad. After it was all over, they almost had to file bankruptcy. I got her with an attorney, and fortunately things worked out right, and it was Bank of America because they're evil. In this case, they were really the demon, but she sued them, and they had to refinance it at no cost to her and for the value that it was or should have been originally, and she got a lot of money back because of that. She's lucky. So many people lost everything, and I've heard nightmare stories, and I lived in Florida at the time, so I saw a lot of it firsthand because Florida was wrecked.
That's where I live right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. As far as the Great Depression, panic, panic. And that's why I said don't make rash emotional decisions with your finances and investments. Think on it, do your research. The panic is what took us down in the Great Depression. Everybody went to the banks to take their money out at once. You can't, our financial system depends on give and take. And if everybody's taking, it's going to break. We can't do that. So, yeah. And what's going on now, I don't know, with as much debt as we have for our country, and how that's going to play out. I know our taxes as a group here from what's going on will help pay off some of that debt. But it's going to be interesting to see. And I would hate to predict, what exactly is going on, because we're at levels that are unprecedented, and we haven't solved all our problems. There's still a lot of issues out there. There's still people that are hungry. There's still people that, can't find a job. And then there's jobs that can't find people. So we have kind of a mess right now. And I'm not sure that I would compare that to the panic of the 20s and 30s or the greed with the banks in '08. I think that stood alone. And it was unbelievable. The balloon loans and the things they did just astounds me.
Oh, 08 was a shit show. Sorry, I had to say it. 08 was horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, bad memory.
Yeah. It was horrible. I had a friend that was in a mortgage broker at the time. She lost her job, went out of work. Her whole company went under. She was one of the few ethical people that I knew in the business. But yeah, a lot of people really got hurt, and it's bad. And people are still reeling from that. I've seen posts in the Reddit forum about this one guy was posting he wants to buy a house for his dad who still doesn't have a home since '08. And when you see that, that makes you realize that it wasn't just a small blip in the radar. Oh, a few homes were foreclosed on. No, it destroyed people's lives. So you have to consider that. That's a whole entity in of it itself. And the greed and the people on the other end of it denying that it was going to happen and laughing about it. Those are the same people we're going against right now. It's that same attitude. So when you see tweets about hold, understand why and why we're doing what we're doing. It's a bigger picture. And we're trying to help that guy get his dad a house from 2008. So let's all remember that when it starts to spike and we get all, oh, don't look at the total amounts in your portfolio, please. Don't do it. Just hang in there and watch the charts to see when it starts to go down. You'll know. Just breathe. Yeah. Mhm.
they're changing that. I don't want to. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. He also just mentioned. He also wrote another message on the chat. He said, "I feel as though '08 panic sparked at the psychological shock of gas reaching record prices. Today we're on thin ice, in my opinion, after seeing the reaction to the recent shortage in Southeast. The greed is there, just as bad as '08, perhaps even more so now." 100% agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a dislike of the oil industry, so you guys don't want to hear all about that. It's not pretty. I have family that works in the oil industry and have been affected by the greed that's higher up in the companies, and they they're brutal.
Yeah.
They pay high bucks coming in. You know, these guys that risk their lives working on rigs offshore and on land, and they give them, you know, the potential to have a good life, but they could let you go tomorrow and not even blink twice because you're so easily replaceable to them. They have no
Yeah.
respect for the people working for them, and it is a very vicious industry. And I have a lot of issues with it. That's one of the reasons I like Tesla, because I want to completely get off gas personally, because what I've seen it do to my family. That's just my 2 cents. I don't own any gas stocks. I used to. And ethically, I decided, you know what, I can't think this way and support that. So I got out of them. Oil
Let me
as
ask
well.
you a question. So,
Yeah.
do you like Tesla for the company it's becoming or has become, or do you like the technology or the noble intent of? Because there are other companies that are doing it, but just Tesla is the forefront running sort of train or brand right now, right? Is the belief that you have it's that it's full electric. They're working Solar Cities, another company he has. He's doing the space stuff. Like, is that sort of the movement you're looking towards, or you just like the brand Tesla?
Okay. I like the 100% electric. If they came out, now they have a hybrid Jeep right now. I'm a Jeep owner. I'm hardcore Jeep owner, so it's on my Twitter. I'm Jeep girl, go to the rallies, do all that fun stuff. If they come out with an electric Jeep that runs efficiently, the hybrid right now has some issues. I've been watching videos on it. I would be sold on that. You know, I don't have to have a Tesla, but I want something that's 100% off oil and gas. I think that for me personally is the road I want to go down. Now, would I look at Neo? Would I look at
Audi's coming up with have their own e-tron that's like,
right,
like that.
right, or Lucid or any of those others? Sure,
Yeah.
I would look at them. I'll always take a Jeep first just because that's who I am.
Right.
You know Jeep people. You guys know you have friends out there that have
Yes.
Jeeps.
I'm a Jeep person.
My
So you
brother
get-
is one too, so he
Um,
did this whole hydraulics, he lifted it and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I'm ridiculous. I'm the chick that takes off the front end of the Jeep and puts on the light covers and all that.
Fantastic. I love it.
But that's my toy. That's my fun. I want to have a vehicle that's fun and efficient. So, that's the road I'm looking down. If I find something that meets that need, that's not a Tesla, sure. I'm not sold hardcore on the company. I am sold on the innovation that's coming out of there.
Right. That's what I was trying to get at. Right. So when you were talking about it, I felt like you were really going on about the technology behind it. What are they trying to come up with? Right. You're looking at the energy efficiency aspect of it.
Right. So you look at, I don't know if you guys have looked into their solar roofing, but
Yes.
Tesla's come out with this shingle that is, you can have this installed. They exclusively use Tesla batteries and take you off grid completely. And it's, up to 160 mile an hour wind proof, which is great for hurricane areas. It's got everything I want in a roof and can run my house off the grid. So that technology has not been available anywhere else. I've already signed up to have it done. I'm in, you know. So when Elon gets competitors out there that are doing something similar and might do it better, sure, I'll look at them. But right now he's running with some things that are just nobody can touch. Nobody's doing that. And so that's where, for me, the value of Tesla comes in as not just a company, but as a stock, and is something I kind of support in a way.
Right,
so.
right. Well, you're also a very long-term stockholder, right? You bought it so cheap,
Yeah.
so.
I've had it a while. But it's that innovation that got me in, because he was not afraid to be a disruptor in the community. And I think that's why a lot of people hate him, is because he does things that are against what you would think he should do. And I kind of like that. You know, you got to admire somebody that goes against the grain. I'm not saying everything he does is okay, and I'm not saying I worship the ground he walks on. Please do not tweet me about that, because that's not the case at all. But he's interesting to watch. I'll say that for sure.
So we did have a question. Guitar Gorilla. Does anyone think there will be multiple squeezes or false squeezes? In my opinion, I do think we're going to see a couple gammas before the big squeeze, and then we'll probably see gammas after as well. Just kind of like aftershocks after the main squeeze, basically. But you could kind of, we might see some tremors, in my opinion, before. So you'll see some really high peaks, and then some valleys, and then some more peaks, and then some valleys, and then just kind of the main event, and how I believe. If anybody else has another opinion on it.
I'm just supporting you. You're right.
Oh.
That's how usually short squeezes work. You look at what we went through with AMC in the last couple of days, you'll see that's what's happening. Literally, a little bit of maybe mini gammas. The way the movement has happened. Last Thursday we went from 10 something to about 14. We did it again last. On Friday, it went from 12 something to like 14 something. So and it went down back to 12 something. So you'll see that retracement happen. But there's the thing with AMC, right, guys, is it's so attractive. The price point, you can get one share for $12 or something change. That's attractive. And there's more to than that. Like AMC is like, it's nostalgic, right? The movie theaters, when there was no COVID, that was one of the favorite times for a lot of people to go get out and watch movies. Like either you go to eat or you go watch a movie. When you know, that's one of the things. There was a poll that somebody posted that the first two things people want to do when they go out is either go to eat or go to the movies. And this company's been for over 100 years. So you're talking about a company that has been stalwart in the industry for so long, and hedge funds have shorted it to death, or tried to, and bankrupted it. So we are very critical in this movement. Just remember that, all of us.
I guess one last little question, and then we'll start wrapping things up here. Wall Street Viking said, anyone notice no AMC articles this weekend? I think they know and are at the point of trying to keep the exposure down. Hard to do when there's flyovers everywhere. But do you have any comments on that or anything?
I think that's 100% accurate. They don't want to talk about it, because the more they talk about it, then that will pique new people and their curiosity, and they're going to want to find out what's going on, and that will bring more money into it. So I think their radio silence speaks loud, in my opinion.
Thank you. So I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Thank you so much, Leslie, for joining us. You've been wonderful. You guys, if you need anybody to follow, you should definitely follow her. She'll just give some positivity on Twitter. Leslie, what's your handle on Twitter again?
It's at Leslie Braddock. It's my name, so it's simple.
Perfect. And thank you so much for joining us. We really, truly appreciate it. And definitely we'll have you back on, talk a little bit. and bring some more positivity to the whole movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate all of you, and I've learned some things here too today. So thank you for the crypto conversations, and I think that we can all learn from each other, and that's what this is all about. So you guys go out there and make money.
You too. You too. We've got this.
Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.